Yo, I got a deck profile here for us. Zoodiac Tri-Brigade. I just played at my probably last locals in my hometown tonight and went 3-0 with it. Been playtesting it for a couple of weeks now. This is my first tournament playing it in. Went 3-0. It was a relatively small locals due to COVID, but it was still really fun. My matchups were round one. I played against Danger Ground Maju, 2-0'd. Played Dogmatica Invoked, 2-0'd them, and then Mech Knight Orcus round 3 and went 2-1, lost the first game, came back and won the next two. A lot of people are playing pure Zoodiac right now, which is totally understandable. It's an insanely good deck, a lot of consistency. I quite literally built this deck because I loved how the rank 4 looked. The Shirik, the Ominous Omen, just as soon as I saw that card released, I was like, I want to play that. And that's kind of what led me to build this deck. So had it finished, been playtesting it for like 2 weeks now. I think I have a pretty solid build on it, but obviously this is subject to change and develop as the format does, but this super fun deck. Definitely not like the most competitive thing, but it definitely, like, it's good. It's quite good. 45 card main. I'll just go ahead and get into it. So for the Zoo Engine, playing one Rat, triple Ram, triple Whiptail, and triple Thoroughblade. A lot of people play like 2 Ram. I've seen some lists that only flirt with 1. I like maxing out on it. You need to open like a Thoroughblade Ram, or just ways to get Ram in grave and to get your combo going. The odds of you opening up a Ram and a 10 key are higher if you're playing 3 of each, and so you can search for the missing piece that you don't have, but that's just kind of my theory behind it. Also just being able to, we are playing Desires as well, so just ensuring that you're not banishing all of your pieces to go off, because if you're only playing 1 or 2 Rams and you banish said Ram, you don't get to do your full Zoo combo. But yeah, not too well versed with the Zoo engine itself, but this seems to work quite well. I've seen some lists that are playing like a Bunny Blast, but that's not something I've ventured into yet. So yeah, those are that's it for the Zoo package. So that's 10 off the get-go. For the Tri-Brigades, we were playing triple Nurgle, 2 Karas, and 3 Fractal. Again, just kind of maxing out on the ones that you want to see. These are kind of your play starters. Karas is fantastic for the way that he's able to drop himself. But these ratios have been working out really well. I would definitely recommend 3 Nerval as staple, just as the extender that he is, and being able to special summon him from hand with your Link to the Blossom in order to go into your Simorgh play. But so far this ratio seems to be working very well. Karas, being able, like I said, to drop himself. He also works pretty well in tangent with Alpha, the Beast King guy, which I did take out for my list tonight actually. But you can drop the Beast King, return him to hand, and then pitch him with Karas to still get like a lot of utility out of his effect. So that is something to keep in mind if you're playing a going second oriented deck. Mine is going first. Fractal is you pitch him from hand or field to send any level 3 or lower beast warrior, or winged beast from deck to graveyard. So more times than not, you're sending Nerval. It has to be level 3 or lower, otherwise you'd just be able to send Ram, which would be bonkers. But he's just a great way to get your play started. All 3 of these also have the effect that they can banish any number of beast, winged beast, or beast warrior monsters from your graveyard to link summon a link monster of equal value to the number of monsters that you banish. So they definitely are great extenders all in themselves as well. For the rest of the monsters, we are playing one of the Barrier Statue. This is just how you lock your opponent out with your Simorgh plays going first. You can also drop this if you're going second, manage to clear their board, and drop the statue, and then that essentially solidifies the fact that you can win the turn after that, because they have to waste either resources getting rid of this or waste their battle phase to try and clear this, and more times than not you're able to protect it with your Omen or Trident or Book of Moons, what have you. This, I do have a tech in my extra deck though that we'll get into this that I play to out my own, but if you have better ideas, by all means let me know. But I definitely was playtesting with the 2 Thunder, the Mist Valley package for the Infinite Negates, but opening those just sucks ass, so I decided to drop it down just to this to make my hands more consistent, and it tended to work pretty cleanly. Shout out to Dalton, he gave me this one after tonight. I was just playing a common one, but he signed it and everything, so thanks, Dalton. Triple DD Crow. I love this card in this deck. I've never really been like a huge proponent of DD Crow, but just in playtesting and theorizing, I haven't seen too many lists that are doing this. Other people might be playing it, but um, it works as a hand trap or an extender, and it's a wing beast, so you can send it to graveyard with Fractal's effect if you so desire, and because it's level 3 or lower wing beast, and you can revive him with your Link 3, the Silver Bullet, to get him back on field during your opponent's main phase, and then if he survives that, he's returned to your hand off of Silver Bullet's effect. So you can send him and add him to your hand, kind of, if you so desire, but that is kind of like a cheeky play that he is accessible. You could, I guess, get away with running 2, but I like having him going first or second, because he can either act as an extender or he's a hand trap. So, I don't know, it's kind of something I've been flirting around with and finding decent success with, and he just hits so much shit in the format. He's quite good. He's not like the blowout hand trap, but as far as techiness in this deck, I've really enjoyed it. And then I am playing 3 Nibiru as well, just because you always got to be able to smell what the rock's cooking, and this card is mad good. For the spells, I guess that's it for the monster lineup. So, yeah, so 10, 8, and 7, so 15, 25 monsters. That's what it looks like there. For spells, we're playing triple Tenki, no brainer. It's kind of your main searcher for the deck. Gets you Thoroughblade, Rapier, Ram, Fractal, whatever one you're needing, whichever one you don't have. Really good for baiting out hand traps if need be. To go along with that, this card is the shit. Being able to, I mean, there's so many cards that your opponent is going to want to hand trap, like Ash, Valor, what have you, and being able to extend past that is fantastic. Triple Tactics allows you, if you know that you have a combo in your hand after getting hand trapped, you drop this, get a read on your opponent's hand, rip out like obviously the most like problematic card, but then also you know what kind of board one to establish based off what your opponent's hand looks like, which is just insane. Like, you know, to either go for your Mega Clops play, or if that's not going to be as effective, you can go for your Simward Lock. So just, I mean, knowledge is everything in this game. So obviously, if like you feel as if though that's not the right effect to go for, you can draw 2. Tonight's locals, I did the hand rip twice, and I think the draw 2 once. But I definitely, it's obviously drawing 2 cards is phenomenal, but being able to extend past an interruption, make sure that your opponent doesn't have that Nibiru in hand or whatever, and then set up a board depending on what your opponent's hand is just so powerful. On top of this, for your draw power, you are playing obviously 3 Desires. Sure, play 2 if you feel like 2 is the right number, but you're playing 3. And that's pretty much self-explanatory. It's fantastic. I am playing 2 Book of Moon. Didn't really get much use out of it tonight, but it's still phenomenal. You can turn off your own barrier statue. It forces out a negate, you know, Savage. You can turn off the Buster Lock. Against certain decks that are normal summon reliant, it can just shut down an entire turn. So definitely a proponent of Book of Moon. I actually took these out in playtesting and then put them back in just because it, I don't know, this card just seems quite good right now. For the 1-ofs, we're doing 1 Barrage, no brainer. If this card comes back to anything more than that, fantastic. Probably won't though. Airborne Assault, I'm playing 1 of. Special summons any winged beast monster from your, I'm sorry, you target a beast warrior, winged beast monster, or beast monster, and special summon 1 of that same type with a different, with a different type, and has to have attack less than that monster that you summon. So you can bring out, you know, whatever Zoodiac card you don't have. If you have a stronger one on the field, you can special summon the Wind Barrier statue at the end of your turn, and its effects are negated until your opponent starts their turn. So it's kind of a cheeky way to cheese that out. You can also trigger your Shrike on your opponent's turn, your rank 4, if you time it well. And so it's just, you very easily could play 2 or 3 of this. I only have 1, to be completely honest, but it seems to be working out quite well. 1 Feather Duster, I top decked this card, and it allowed me to push for game. So 1 in the main deck, definitely. Reborn and Foolish Burial as further extenders. You will be getting hand trapped, and your plays will be getting shut down. So you have to have ways to push back or push through. Foolish Burial also gives you access to your Nerval if need be, which turns into your Rhoda when he's sent to graveyard, and then also just a way to access Ram directly from the deck. If you just open up Foolish and the Zoodiac monster, you can still do your full combo. So that's quite nice as well. And then for the traps, we're just playing 2 Imperm and 2 Revolt. I actually took out my Alpha and Pot of Avarice for the 2 Imperms, and man, I don't know, I'm so iffy about Pot of Avarice because there was a lot of times tonight where I was like, you burn through your resources like crazy in this deck, and your extra deck is so tight, so it's not like you have a ton of room to play multiples of a lot of stuff, but maybe I can work on that a little bit more in the future. Revolt is absolutely disgusting. I love this card. I did see a guy that had a profile where he was playing, I think, something like 3 and 3, and then with a trap trick as well, so he could access whichever one he needed to at any point in time, which is pretty spicy. Tri-Brigade Revolt, though, allows you to special summon any amount of your banished or beast, wing beast, or beast warrior monsters in the graveyard or banished, and then you link summon with them immediately. So more times than not, you're going for your link 4 or a way to trigger his effect to banish something on your opponent's side of the field. But it's just a great card for putting your resources back into graveyard as well if you've been banishing a lot off of the lower level Tri-Brigade monsters. But that is it for the main deck. 45 cards total. You could definitely try and work it down to 40, but I don't know, 45 cards with all the draw power and combo ability that the deck has been working out quite well. You'll be able to see my replays that I've got up on the channel, how the deck kind of ran. Obviously, not every hand's going to be golden, but the deck does what it's supposed to do quite well. Obviously, Zoodiac is one of the most consistent engines. But if you're wanting just a pure build, then obviously Pure Zoo is the way to go. But I really like the Tri-Brigade monsters. They add a different flavor and play style to the deck, and a new element where, I mean, I love playing things where people are like, what's that do? What's that do? Shit, what's that do? And then that just obviously makes the deck harder to play against. Extra deck, 1 Hammer Kong, 1 Borbo, 1 Trident. This is pretty standard. I don't see this changing. Borbo is a fucking insane card. This this guy is so nasty, especially with your Zeus play. 2 Tiger Mortar, 2 Chakanine. If I were better, I would probably be able to definitively say if these needed to be played at anything different, but these seem to be working quite well just because they allow you to have your recovery plays, get your Trident back out of the graveyard, and then reattach a material to them. Borbo being able to attack directly, you can slap Zeus on to him after you stack a couple more Zoodiac monsters, so you can get at least 2 sends off of Zeus's effect. Hammer Kong is just an extra name, so far this is what I've been sticking with. As I progress and play the deck more, this might change, but right now this seems to be pretty solid. So my spicy deck that I'm playing for to out my own barrier statue is Castel. He's a wind wing beast, so the theory is if you are sitting on your statue, your opponent passes or whatever, you don't really have any other wind monsters in your extra deck that you can go into other than the Simorgh link. Everything else is earth. So having access to any other level 4 monster, which is all of your Zodiacs or Fractal, essentially, you can normal summon, go into Castel. This outs Megaclops as well, so I mean that's kind of like a fun card this format that people are struggling with. Good sort of a problematic card, but it's also Wing Beast, so whilst in grave, it just counts as more fodder for all of your Tri-Brigade monsters. I was playing Digesto Emerald as an accessible Pot of Avarice, definitely a solid option as well, but as I was playtesting, I was like, oh shit, Castel's super spicy. So I decided to run a Castel. Didn't come up tonight, but I do like the idea of being able to do something with your own barrier statue. That way you're not locking yourself out with it, because when your opponent passes and you're sitting on a barrier statue and you want to push for a game, but you can't because there's a statue sitting there, it can kind of become a problem. So that's where the Castel comes into play. And then 1 Zeus, obviously you can run 2 if you have to. I have 1, seems to be working out quite well. You can clear entire boards just by summoning a Zoodiac monster, slapping Borbo on top, attacking directly, load up the Zoot with like 3 or 4 more cards, slap Zeus on it, and just wipe everything away. And they have to answer that, otherwise their whole board is getting sent, and then you're free to go. For the links, 2 of the Blossom, special summons a Wing Beast, Beast Warrior, or Beast Monster from your hand as an extender. Helps you go into your Simorgh plays if you have Nerval in hand. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, you draw a card and put one at the bottom of your deck, so it helps you cycle into hand traps or extenders or whatever you need to. I'm playing 1 Silver Bullet. This card's pretty flippin' underrated as far as what it does for the deck. Being able to recur your own resources back from grave and then add them back to hand if they survive is fantastic, and then that's also just a really, really good Link 3 target. On top of that, we are playing the Simorgh as well. Obviously, this is how you get into your barrier statue lock. Also can special summon Nerval from your deck if the barrier statue survives. You still have a good amount of targets. The DD Crow comes in handy with this as well, because if you don't have Nerval, you can special summon DD Crow from your hand, and that still allows you to go into the Simorgh play. So that's where the DD Crow, I've been finding, comes like into great use as an extender. And then 1 Megaclops and 1 Ominous Omen. Megaclops is just such an insane card. People have to expend so many resources typically unless they have a kaiju to get around this. So it allows a lot of your other stuff to sit pretty for a turn or two. And then Ominous Omen is just kind of like the big guy of the deck. He allows for a lot of control aspects. Every time a beast, wing beast, or beast warrior monster is summoned once per turn, you can just non-targeting banish a card on the field. Then when he's sent to the graveyard, you can add a beast, wing beast, or beast warrior monster depending on the amount of monsters that you have banished with a level equal to or lower than those monsters that you have banished. So he also kind of adds a little bit of bounce back. But typically once he hits the field, you don't want him to leave. And that does it for the extra deck. Pretty tight. Obviously the Castel could be something different. I know that people play that Ancient Warrior, the Link 2, that's a wind type. Definitely might be worth looking into. I don't believe I have one. If I do, it's in bulk somewhere. But this is what I've been rolling with. Pot of Avarice or Digesto Emerald would not be bad ideas, just because once your big monsters hit the grave, they're gone. So it's either Monster Reborn or bust, it seems like. And then for the side, Triple Chalice, still swear by this card. This card's fucking amazing. Shit's on so many different... I just love Chalice. VFD is still a card if Virtual World keeps gaining traction. I don't know, like, I just, going first or second, it's like a strike, but you can still break boards with it, whereas strike is, you have to have a turn for setup. So I'm still, and forever will be, a huge proponent of this card. Cosmic Cyclone, just good, again, going first or second, allowing you to break that shitty back row, pick off cards, with Eldritch being able to banish their monster, or their traps is way more impactful than obviously sending them to graveyard. Just because we like blowing entire fields out, and if we know that we're blinding or going second, Lightning Storm is still solid. And then, kind of in the same regard, Dark Ruler no more, just to lock off entire fields and being able to push through it. This was 2 pointers and Imperial Order, but I pulled my third pointer tonight, so I swapped it out for it. Theory with this is kind of the same thing as Triple Tactics. Like, hand knowledge is so important, like being able to look at your opponent's hand after setting up your board and ripping out like that Dark Ruler no more, or that Kaiju, whatever they're needing to out, like you just take away their most impactful card, and then that allows you to know like what you can save your interruptions for. So that's kind of the theory behind it. Pointer's pretty broken in that regard, but I haven't had too much testing with it. I didn't get to like play it at all tonight, but I know like what the card does, and the theory behind it seems solid enough to me to play it. And that's it for the side as well. Pretty short, simple, sweet, and concise. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, went 3-0 with the deck tonight. Would love to hear other feedback on it. Any spicy text that people are coming up with. Very, very fun deck to play. I mean, it opens up a lot of different lines of play, and you can definitely set up some insane turn 1 boards the more you play with it. And it's just something kind of fun and different to get into. Not a lot of people are playing this variant, I feel like, and they definitely, I feel like, are missing out. So thank you. I appreciate you guys watching the shit. And again, listen to 17880. Let's do my shit.